Well, it's December. The leaves have dropped. The temperature has dropped. I'm now wearing thermals.
I'm wearing as many layers as I can put on.
Yep. We have our beverages, and we get to reflect on our first year of farming. The good, the bad, the ugly, and sometimes the very ugly.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I think the year went great. We got back from our sailing adventures in February and ready to hit the ground running. We were super ambitious. We wanted to like get in and have a full season and plan a bunch of stuff, and we quickly realized we needed to recalibrate. That wasn't really wasn't really feasible, but that was okay. That was part of the process for us.
I feel like we spent a long time in dream mode. For those of you who may not know, we were traveling by sailboat for the 2.5 years prior to starting Tuckaway. And so the last year we were crossing the Pacific as a family, and that's when we were thinking about farming. And like we spent a long time in dream mode. And we're like, oh, and we can do bees, and we can do chickens, and we're gonna have laying hens, and massive market garden, and pigs and horses, and like all the things. And so we came home with like a long list of all the stuff we wanted to do. And I think it's a little humbling to now be at the end of year one, realizing how much work each and every one of those single things is on that list.
It's true. It's true. And each of them requires a lot of time and effort. I think coming out of that initial recalibration, we realized, okay, we want to set up some field blocks. We want to get some plants in the ground, and we want to know that we can grow things, because neither of us have farming background.
Right. And if we were in our 20s, we would go and apprentice on somebody's farm for a couple of years and, learn that way. But we're not. We've got 5 kids and, dogs and cats and everything else. And so like we had to import some expertise. We needed help from Tad and Noelle to figure out how to grow some stuff. Yeah. But we did grow some stuff.
Tomato seeds, right? I'm thinking of tomatoes particularly because that's kind of what we had the most of.
That's the only thing we planted in the beginning.
That's and I had hundreds of these tomato starts and just watched them blossom from nothing, and they were babies and they lived inside, and we had lights, and they waited probably 2 or 3 weeks longer to get in the ground because we didn't have the ground ready.
Right. Yeah, we hadn't built the fill block yet. We didn't have the tunnel set up. Yeah.
Yeah. So we finally got them in the ground, and they grew, and it was magic. And all of a sudden we had these tomatoes trellising up and getting taller than I was, and we had tomatoes coming off of them. And
they were delicious.
And they were delicious. Yeah. And so here was this harvest that we had worked so hard to get, and we had Chef Matt Cooper was the first one. He came out to the farm and walked through that tunnel of tomatoes with us, and pulled one off the vine and said, "I'll take everything you got." And we were just blown away. It was this magical moment for us.
I might have teared up a little bit.
You might have teared up a little bit. Yeah, this magical moment that we produced this, and it's worthy of being in a restaurant. They were delicious. It was really exciting.
That felt great.
It felt great.
And then we came out the next morning and all the trellis lines had fallen off. And I was back to being pissed at being a farmer. Yeah. Okay, how about like hard moments? Moments that were discouraging this year. I have one while you're thinking. Like coming into fall and winter, like over Halloween, right, in October.
Yes.
We had 3 days of really hard freezes, and we've never dealt with that before. And we just didn't we weren't like watching the weather that carefully. And we didn't go out and do all the things that we should have, and we lost a bunch of crops that I think we could still be growing some things right now if we had been more attentive to that and knew what we were doing. So that was a hard lesson learned for me, watching everything, literally everything that was in the field die.
Just be gone.
Yeah, that was awful.
Sometimes learning how to manage my schedule. Yeah. Right?
I wasn't going to say it.
So we have a lot of things going, and not only do we have farm things going, but we've got family things going, and the farm has multiple layers to it. And learning how to prioritize and do the most important thing But make sure you're scheduling time to get out in the field and actually, you know, weed or whatever it was you needed to do that week, so that your crops thrived.
I don't know if you want to call it a wake-up call or what, but how long it takes to get some things done. Like I've dramatically underestimated level of effort on several things. So like when we were doing our irrigation, I was like, oh, well, 3 days. We're going to rent a trencher. We're going to dig some trenches. We're going to glue some pipe together, stick some hydrants in the ground and cover it back up. Like,
Easy.
Yeah, a day each. Day to trench, day to put a pipe, and a day to cover it up. Like, And then we're out there for 2 weeks, right? Because guess what? Like, you know, you're trying to dig around a line, so you got to do it with a rock bar, and you can't use the backhoe. And oh, by the way, the backhoe can't show up for 2 days, and then the pipe's not fitting, and then I break the hydrant 3 times and have to redig the hole twice to reset the hydrant. Like, you know, it's harder.
Yeah.
Same thing with the chicken coop, the tractor.
Oh yeah, the chicken.
That was another one. I was like, I can bust that out in like a week and a half, I think. And sure enough, like 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
And a lot more help. Like if Andrew hadn't come and been here for 10 days of that,
Yeah.
I'd probably still be working on it. So, yeah, recognizing that every little thing on the list, even though it seems trivial and easy, like these are infrastructure projects and they take a lot of time.
Another big learning curve for me was the crop planning and the managing, figuring out website, and there's just a lot of
Getting accounting set up. And
yeah.
Connecting all of that
I
stuff
could
together.
use all of my time in that, and then that means I'm not in the field at all, which is where we
Yes.
want to be.
The laptop to field ratio was like way off from where we were thinking 80% field time, 20%
Yeah.
laptop time. And it's probably been like 60-40 laptop to field.
Yeah.
That's been pretty discouraging because we didn't get into this game to like hang out on our laptops all day.
I'm hoping that will slowly shift as we kind of get things set and programs in place and get used to planting crops and anyways, managing all of that, that we will get to swing a little further the other direction.
Yeah. Okay, so those are the discouraging moments. What about the bright spots? What's like keeping us going? What do you think?
We started with nothing, an empty field, and so to go out there and be like, oh, hey, now there's 1 field block, and then go out a month later, oh, now there's 2, and wait, now we have cat tunnel frames up, and just to watch it just piece by piece slowly come to fruition.
We're going to build our 5th one on Friday. Ooh.
Yes, we are.
You know, I think in the short term, like week to week and day to day, it can be discouraging because it feels like it's moving at a glacial pace. But then when you pick your head up, like, and you look at what's been accomplished over the last few months, those are the moments where you're like, oh, like we're making progress, we're doing stuff. And, you know, it's only been 9 months and we have a farm.
We have a farm baby.
Sort of. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Any other bright spots for you?
Anytime the kids got excited about something, we did this because we wanted to be home. We wanted to do something as a family and continue to have good family together time and moments to connect. And it hasn't happened, I think, as much as we hoped and dreamed.
Part of that is because they're at school for 8.5 hours a day, and then they've got gymnastics or cheer or, you know, whatever
Climbing,
else,
rock
climbing, and like life is busy, church activities.
Busy.
And so, you know, if we get an hour and a half of them engaged a week on the farm, like that's you know, sometimes all we get. Bright spots for me, having chefs come out to the farm and get excited about what we're doing. That has been amazing, just to feel that support from the community. Also, the Grow, Nourish, Thrive event that we had here, we had a wonderful turnout from the community.
We did.
And you could just kind of feel people's excitement about what we're doing and asking how they could help and how they could volunteer and wanting to be a part of our farm membership program next year. Like that payoff has been really big because that's why we're doing it, is to add something beautiful to Northwest Arkansas. And so to feel that love being reciprocated has been really meaningful. So in a couple short weeks, we're going to be in 2024 and we're excited. I mean, there's a lot more coming. Like if you thought 2023 went fast and we did a lot in 2023, just wait, like buckle up.
I'm excited about 2024 because we will start to settle what we're doing. We'll start to put in new trees and shrubs and things like that.
Planting orchards.
Berries. We're not pulling things out anymore. We're going to start putting things back in that then are going to be permanent.
2024 is going to be intense. And part of that is because we've called 2023 year zero, like it doesn't count. Like it's just prep year, infrastructure year. Not that we don't have plenty more infrastructure to do next year, but the big difference is going to be like people are going to come to the farm. We're going to open to the public next year.
And we're excited to have some cool events for you as well. You know, farm to fork dinners, special, you know, member s'more roast. I don't know, we're dreaming things up all the time, but I'm excited for that.
But for us, it's about the relationships. That's why we're doing it. And this year, like, it's been pretty infrequent that people are on the farm with us. And so to be able to start sharing it with the community next year is going to be a huge change. And I feel like we'll finally start living into the vision and, you know, the purpose for Tuckaway next year. Goodbye year zero, here comes year one.